only really advice I can give... Okay, there's two pieces of advice. The first one is watch. Just look. Just observe. Don't do anything. Don't talk to anybody. Don't go on the internets. Don't do anything. Let your avatar do these things. Let your avatar go on the internets. Let your avatar talk to Joe Schmo down the road. And you watch. Just look. Your avatar is doing these things regardless. Whether you are giving life to the avatar or not, it's still going to do it. I have a feeling that that this particular dream state, I think we took a dive into the subconscious of someone, maybe Mother Earth, I don't know. It's not, we are seeing the subconscious visually. Just so on the other side, we live and we communicate with each other, and the subconscious is invisible, and it's the base or the ground for experience. But here, excuse me, we see the subconscious. Everything you see out there is the subconscious. So, for instance, the panic attack thing that's going around, the viral phenomena. On the other side, somebody would, be worrying that they might get sick. And here, you would see that worry translated into actual phenomenal experience via the news, via people talking about being sick. It just it's switched, it's reversed. And it's really fascinating to be here. Once you are able to move beyond the extreme, absurd strangeness of it, there's an aspect of it that's like talking underwater, right? When I am talking right now, I have this feeling like I'm talking underwater. There's a quietness to it. I don't want to say not real because that term has been too fucked up. It doesn't have that much relevance anymore. But there's a quietness. Even though we have cars and stuff and people apparently doing things, it's like you're looking at everyone's subconscious self. It's just doing routine patterns. It's following symbology. It's following past forms, and that's why I, for instance, because I'm awake in the dream or I'm awake in the subconscious, that's why I complain about everyone being comatose, because that's what the subconscious will look like. It's just a dream state that is populated with symbols. And when I say symbol, I don't mean necessarily like a logo, like a Nissan logo on a car. I don't mean that. I mean symbols as in conceptual lattices or frameworks to delineate movement through the realm. So everyone who's driving next to me, they all have a symbol in their head. It just says something. It says like work. It says home. It says McDonald's, right? And this type of, it's like the efficiency ratio is very high here, because there's not a lot of probability, what do you call it, wavering, I guess you could say. Like, all of these people, they're not having lots of questions. Well, do I really want to go to McDonald's? Or, do I want to explore? Or, what is this life thing all about anyway? People are not wavering like that, like I do, like many of you do. You're going through your day and you have the conceptual lattice set up in your mind that says, I'm studying math because I'm in school because blah blah blah, and the causal chain goes on in your mind. But those of us who are more aware are in a constant Schrodinger cat state. Do I really want to be going this place that the conceptual framework set up for me? Or do I not? Or do I want to change it? Or do I want to take a side street? And who am I? And blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And these kinds of questions go on. And that's what makes it interesting for us. If we just did the same thing that all these guys are doing, and we just accepted whatever framework was, clink, McDonald's, and there's no judging of if that's correct, if it's the correct time for McDonald's, if it's correct to eat McDonald's in the first place, and 1,000 billion other questions that should be at least addressed on some level before you go to your first McDonald's. It's just a different way of looking at it. It's very difficult to explain. But it is like, it's like talking underwater. We are in the subconscious. We're not in what you call the conscious. We are like conscious dream characters. And this is not new material. I've talked about this many times, but those of us who are awake, those of us who can alternate between frameworks, you're not stuck on whatever track, you should take advantage of it. That's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. Andrea and I, we're doing that. We are exploring the possibility spectrum within this very strange upside down subconscious sort of like manifest. It's very strange. And you could say strange compared to what? And we don't really remember because, if we are dreaming and if we're, projecting this from some comatose bodies that are in stasis pods or whatever, then there are just lots of levels to consider. There are lots of levels to consider, and you won't really know sort of what level you're in unless you ask questions. Because like if we're in the subconscious and you are letting what would normally be a proper thought process, which is, let most of it go, let most of it be taken care of by the subconscious, but we're in the subconscious, you're taking yourself to another level of nuance or depth to where you're almost not affecting anything anymore. You see what I'm saying? Like you're having thoughts about manifesting while you're inside of the subconscious. So, for instance, if I pulled my car over, jumped out, did a bunch of push-ups, got back in the car, and kept going, that would be the same thing as like in one level up, somebody just having a thought. Oh, I wonder what it would feel like if I pulled my car over and I did push-ups. Do you see what I'm saying? action here is the same level as having thoughts there. And if you just stay in the level of having thoughts here, the level up can't even, it has no clue. It's like you in a dream state, you know, you're sleeping in your bed and you're, instead of interacting with the other dream characters, you're just thinking. Like, how is that ever going to translate upwards? It's too quiet. So even if you're being really loud here, you're like getting out. Say you yank all your clothes off and go streaking down the street. You know, like, that's probably going to be quiet as well. Like, it's not going to cause as much so-called noise as you think it will until you try it. That's why I'm saying, like, experimentation here is so necessary, because most of you don't know where you're at. You must experiment, okay? Peace!